Have you ever pondered about the mysteries that history has left unsolved? One such enigma is the story of the lost colony of Roanoke. In the heart of the 16th century, a tale unfolded on the shores of what we now know as North Carolina. It was here that the English attempted one of their first permanent settlements in the New World, a place they christened Roanoke. But, as the winds of time blew, the colony vanished into thin air, leaving behind only questions. Roanoke was more than just a settlement. It was a symbol of hope, a beacon of new beginnings. The English saw it as a chance to expand their influence, to plant their flag in the soil of this uncharted land. They dreamed of a prosperous colony that would strengthen their foothold in the New World. But little did they know, their dreams would soon turn into a nightmare. Imagine, if you will, a thriving community of about 115 souls, men, women, and children, all hoping for a better future. They were pioneers in a land far from home, braving the unknown for the promise of a brighter tomorrow. But one day, they simply disappeared. No trace of struggle, no signs of a mass departure, not even a single clue to hint at their fate. It was as if they had been swallowed by the earth itself. The colony was discovered empty by those who returned from England, with supplies and reinforcements. All that remained was the eerie word Croatoan, carved into a wooden post, a cryptic farewell that still baffles historians today. Did they succumb to the harsh realities of the New World? Were they wiped out by disease or perhaps by conflict with the natives? Or did they simply pack up and leave, merging with local tribes or seeking out new lands? These questions have haunted us for over 4 centuries, spinning tales of intrigue and speculation. And yet, the fate of the Roanoke colonists remains one of the most enduring mysteries in American history. This is the mystery that we will try to unravel today, the story of Roanoke, the lost colony. It all began in the year 1585, when the first English settlers arrived at Roanoke Island. Imagine being one of those settlers, stepping foot on this uncharted land, known today as North Carolina. The journey across the Atlantic was fraught with peril, with storms and disease threatening at every turn. Yet, the promise of a new world, a land of opportunity, drove these brave souls forward. Once they arrived, the settlers found themselves in a world unlike anything they'd ever known. The land was lush and fertile, teeming with plant and animal life. However, this paradise was not without its challenges. The settlers had to learn how to navigate the new terrain, to farm unfamiliar crops and hunt unknown creatures. Yet the greatest challenge they faced was not the land itself, but its original inhabitants. The native tribes of the area, including the Croatoan and the Socotan, had a complex relationship with these new arrivals. There were moments of cooperation as the tribes shared their knowledge of the land and its resources. But there were also moments of conflict as cultural misunderstandings and territorial disputes arose. The settlers' survival hinged on their ability to adapt, to learn from the native tribes, and to weather the harsh winters and the unpredictable summers. They struggled with disease, malnutrition, and the constant threat of violent encounters with the native tribes. Despite these challenges, they managed to establish a fragile foothold in the New World. Life was harsh and unforgiving, yet there was a sense of hope and determination among the settlers. They believed they were carving out a new future, a new home, in this wild, untamed land. And so, despite the hardships, despite the uncertainty, a second wave of settlers, emboldened by the reports of the first group's survival, made the decision to journey across the Atlantic and make Roanoke their home in 1587. Despite the hardships, a second group of settlers decided to make Roanoke their home in 1587. The second wave of settlers, led by John White, arrived in Roanoke with renewed hope and dreams. The promise of a fresh start in the New World was a beacon that drew them across the vast Atlantic. They arrived brimming with optimism, ready to carve out a new life from the rugged, untamed wilderness of Roanoke. This was a diverse group of settlers, including men, women, and children, who brought with them the hopes and dreams of a nation. Among them, artisans and farmers, ready to contribute their skills to the budding community. Each one played their part, each one a vital cog in the mechanism of survival. Their early days in Roanoke were filled with hard work and determination. They built homes, planted crops, and began to establish a community. Life in the New World was not easy, but they were united in their cause, bound together by their shared hopes for a better future. One event in particular brought a spark of joy to the arduous days of settlement life. That event was the birth of Virginia Dare, the first English child to be born in the New World. This historic event seemed to symbolize a promising future for the settlers. A new generation born on the new land, an embodiment of their hopes and dreams for their new home. But as time wore on, the harsh realities of life in the New World began to set in. The settlers faced severe shortages of supplies. The land, though rich, proved challenging to cultivate. Their provisions dwindled and the hope that had once buoyed their spirits began to fade. The promise of a new life in Roanoke was starting to seem more like a distant dream than a tangible reality. But the hope soon turned into despair, as the settlement faced severe shortages of supplies. The dream of Roanoke, it seemed, was slipping through their fingers. And yet, the real mystery of Roanoke was only just beginning to unfold. In the face of adversity, Governor John White made a decision that would haunt him forever. The year was 1587, and the Roanoke colony, a critical English foothold in the New World, was in dire straits. Starvation, disease, and the threat of Native American attacks hung like a sword over the settlers' heads. Governor White, a man of courage and determination, was faced with a choice. The colony was desperate for supplies and support. His mind torn between his duty and his heart, White made the fateful decision to return to England. He hoped to secure the much-needed supplies and reinforcements to ensure the colony's survival. Yet, as he set sail for the homeland, the situation in Roanoke progressively worsened. The colonists were left to fend for themselves in an alien land, their lifelines severed with White's departure. The remaining food supplies dwindled, and the sense of fear and uncertainty grew. The settlers were alone, their fate hanging in the balance. Back in England, circumstances conspired against White. The country was on the brink of war with Spain, and every available ship was commandeered for the impending battle. His pleas for help fell on deaf ears as the nation focused on the looming threat. Each passing day was a day lost for Roanoke, a day further from salvation. 3 long years passed before Governor White could finally return to Roanoke. He had left behind a thriving colony, his own family, and dreams of a new world. He returned with hope in his heart, supplies in his ship, and an eagerness to reunite with his loved ones. Little did he know, this was the last time he would see his family and the settlers of Roanoke. The fateful decision that was meant to be their salvation had instead become a prelude to one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. Upon his return in 1590, White found Roanoke abandoned, with no trace of the settlers. The eerie silence hung heavily, as if the air itself held its breath. The once bustling settlement now lay empty, an echo of the vibrant life that had once filled it. Nature had started to reclaim the land, but the remnants of human habitation were still evident. In the midst of this desolation, a single word, Croatoan, was carved into a tree. The word, like a ghost, whispered of a story yet untold. This cryptic message was the only clue left behind by the vanished settlers. As you can imagine, this scene must have been incredibly surreal and chilling for White. He had left a thriving community and returned to find an empty shell. The people he had known, the faces he had recognized, all gone without a trace. Over the years, the mystery of Roanoke has sparked numerous theories. Some believe that the colonists were assimilated into local Native American tribes. Others speculate that they were wiped out by disease or fell victim to a violent conflict. The word Croatoan itself has been a subject of intense scrutiny. It was the name of a nearby island, and also of a local Native American tribe. Could the settlers have sought refuge there, or was it a desperate cry for help, a message left in the hope that someone would come to their rescue? Despite exhaustive research and numerous archaeological digs, no definitive evidence has been found to support any of these theories. Even the word Croatoan raises more questions than it answers. Was it a clue left behind by the settlers, or a red herring meant to throw off their pursuers? And so the mystery deepens. The silence of Roanoke continues to echo through the centuries, a chilling reminder of a community that simply vanished into thin air. To this day, the fate of the Roanoke colonists remains one of history's most intriguing unsolved mysteries. Over the centuries, numerous theories have tried to explain the disappearance of the Roanoke colonists. One popular theory suggests that the colonists may have assimilated with local Native American tribes. It's possible that they abandoned the colony due to harsh conditions and sought refuge with the tribes. Over time, they could have intermarried and integrated, essentially disappearing into the fabric of Native American society. Some reports of blue-eyed English-speaking Native Americans in later years lend some credence to this theory. Another theory proposes a more violent end. The colonists could have been victims of an attack, perhaps from hostile tribes or even the Spanish, who were known to be active in the area. The Spanish had a motive. They'd been at odds with the English over the control of the New World. However, no definitive archaeological evidence of a battle has been found at the Roanoke site. Then there are the supernatural explanations. Some people love to speculate that the colonists were swept away by a giant wave, abducted by aliens, or even fell victim to a zombie outbreak. While these theories are certainly the most entertaining, they are also the least likely. A more recent theory suggests that the colonists may have tried to sail back to England themselves and got lost at sea. The word Croatoan carved into a post at the colony could have been a clue left behind about their intended destination, the nearby Croatoan island. However, no wreckage of a makeshift colonist ship has ever been found. Yet another theory argues for a combination of these scenarios. The colonists could have split up, with some trying to return to England, others assimilating with local tribes, and still others perhaps meeting a violent end. Despite these theories, the mystery of Roanoke continues to captivate and confound us. The truth may lay hidden in the soil of Roanoke Island, waiting to be unearthed. Or perhaps it's lost forever, swallowed up by the sands of time. Either way, the story of Roanoke remains one of history's most enduring unsolved mysteries. The lost colony of Roanoke remains a tantalizing puzzle in the annals of history. As we reach the end of our journey today, let's take a moment to revisit the intriguing story that we've weaved together. This tale originates from a time when the New World was just that, a new and uncharted territory, filled with possibilities and peril alike. The establishment of Roanoke was a bold step into this unknown, a testament to the adventurous spirit of our forebears. Yet the settlers of this colony were not met with an easy life. They faced hardships, from the harsh environmental conditions to the tense relationships with the native tribes, challenges that tested their survival and resilience. Then comes the heart of our mystery, the sudden and unexplained disappearance of the Roanoke settlers. One day they were there, and the next gone, leaving behind only a cryptic message carved into a tree trunk. This disappearance has baffled historians and enthusiasts alike, sparking theories and speculations that span from the plausible to the outlandish. Some conjecture that the settlers were assimilated into local native tribes, while others propose that they met a tragic end at the hands of hostile forces. There are those who suggest a mass migration due to dwindling resources, or even a catastrophic natural disaster. And then of course there are the more supernatural theories, alien abductions, time travel, and a curse from the native tribes. Each theory adds another layer to the enigma, another piece to the puzzle, yet none provide a definitive answer. As we delve into the mysteries of the past, we are reminded of the enduring allure of the unknown. The lost colony of Roanoke, with its vanished settlers and cryptic clues, continues to captivate our curiosity, a reminder that history is as much about the questions as it is about the answers. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the enigma of Roanoke, the lost colony.